Hey everybody, I'm Jake, aka Bomber, and I welcome you into another Jobber Radio video. We are cracking open the Deathmatch archive yet again to talk about a tournament that I have never seen before, and it's a little special to me. And I think Deathmatch Wrestling history. It is the Ohio Hatchet Wrestling Death in the Valley 2010. And I know I just said I haven't seen it before and it's special to me. That's because historically it's special to me because I'm a history buff. I'm a stats guy. I'm weird like that. But I'm spoiling something, by the way. I'm spoiling the tournament right here. I don't usually do that, but this is J.C. Bailey's first ever deathmatch tournament win. And it's, bittersweet. It's recently, like 5 months after he got out of prison. Very unfortunately, a couple months before he passed away. But in that sweet time frame right there, when we had J.C. Bailey back in Deathmatch Wrestling, he put on banger after banger after banger. And I heard a lot of rumors, a lot of people talking about how this tournament right here, the main event of this tournament, was something special, something great that you needed to see. But back in the day, I was solely CZW. I was a straight on CZW fan. I didn't watch IWA. I didn't watch XPW, any of that kind of stuff. I watched CZW. So I didn't see this until now. I got it on Smart Mark Video, and we're going to break down this whole tournament. Now, if you're a JC Bailey fan, which I hope you are, if you're not, you must not have seen a lot of his work because he was really one of the best. I've never done like a top 10 who were my favorite deathmatch wrestlers before, but without a doubt, JC Bailey is in that top 10. 100%. But let me know down below, what is your favorite JC Bailey match, moment, feud? Maybe it's this tournament. Maybe if you've seen this tournament and you think it's this main event, which we're about to get into, let me know. Let me know down below. Let's show some JC Bailey love because this tournament is historically all about him. So I've yapped enough. Let's get into it. Front to back. Let's go. Ohio Hatchet Wrestling hosted their only deathmatch tournament to date on May 15th, 2010, and little did fans know this would end up being a pretty special night in deathmatch history. First up would be a triple threat match seeing Toby Klein take part in one of his last deathmatch tournaments. It wouldn't be until 7 years later he competed in VOW's Lord of Anarchy 3, and then 9 years after that, he finds himself booked in Tournament of Death 23. His opponents would be OHW regulars. First, we got Super Oprah, who wasn't really known for their deathmatch skill set, and then we have Elkview Adam, who was beginning to make a name for himself in the scene by 2010. With thumbtacks and jacks covering the entire canvas, Super Oprah was wise enough to avoid a double suplex and then popped a squat in the front row, refusing to wrestle in a match like this. For just a split second, we had a one-on-one contest, which Adam was not winning, by the way, but here came Oprah to get involved with a surprise attack. Super Oprah would soon lose the wig, and Mr. Insanity put it on himself and hit a dive out of the ring, wiping out both of his opponents. Kind of shades of Undertaker here when he was still rocking that long hair. Back in the ring, though, Toby would connect with a DVD onto all those tacks and jacks, only for Elkview Adam to climb in and steal the pin. We got a super quick match here, but Adam scores a pretty big upset, sending Super Oprah and Toby Klein packing in round number 1. Another triple threat would be on tap as David Day came to the ring first to battle JC Bailey and John Thorne, who were both making their OHW debuts at this show. Day and Thorne would wisely double team Bailey, who was the clear favorite, but as you know, alliances never seem to last too long in three-ways. Just when it looked like their teamwork was falling apart and JC was going to easily handle the 2-on-1, he made a big miscalculation here and found himself crashing through a barbed wire chair. They would try to team up again and set a barbed wire table up in the ring and actually work together to powerbomb Bailey through that table, but would you look at that, more troubles between the two. Thor nearly took Day's head off with this lariat and followed that up with a Northern Lights suplex through a barbed wire ladder. All during that, JC Bailey had time to recover and caught Thorne off guard with a boot to the dome and quickly scooped David Day up, planting him down with a Michinoku driver to snag the 3-count victory and move on to the next round. We would get one more triple threat match in this tournament, and just like the last match, we would get one OHW mainstay in Viper taking on two guys making their debut here. One being a relatively unknown Bildo, and also Wax, who got quite the ovation here. It had to be like 30 seconds into this match, and already Viper would be utilizing some light tubes on Wax, and then he would just carve them up with a sharp foreign object. This was not the start Wax was looking for, I'm sure. There would be some stiff ballroom brawling on the outside, which was eventually interrupted by Wax flying off the top rope, and hey, kudos to Viper, who rolled into the pit of broken glass, by the way. So, Bildo did a lot of awkward standing around in this match, and it finally caught up to him here with his headbutt into some tubes by Viper, and with Viper in control for a moment, he would dish out more punishment to Wax, who was a bloody mess at this point. Then Bildo would kind of just stumble into what looked like a Samoan drop, but as Viper was going for the win, Wax capitalized with a kick to the head, saving the match. He then slammed Viper's cut-up back into a pit of salt and would finish him off with a big senton from the top rope. So to close out round one, we got two more OHW debuts as Freak Show went one-on-one with the Psycho Shooter Drake Younger. Things would get off to a hot start with trading light tube shots, followed by a textbook drop kick from Drake. To say Freak Show was taking the brunt of the damage early on would be an understatement.
Yeah, he's going to be careful. He's going to be taking a visit to the hospital. And the tear just being wrapped around his skull.
Shades of Sabu.
But the size advantage would eventually pay off, and we were treated with a beautiful fall-away slam from Freak Show. Yeah, it would now be the big man's turn in the driver's seat as Drake did his best to just survive the onslaught of ultra-violence. Drake would have to pull out some high-flying and technical wrestling to get back in this thing. And you know what? I guess it took a little bit of strength, too, to get Freak Show up and drive him down through those dozens of light tubes with a Samoan drop. That's your 3 count, and Drake Younger will be moving on to the semifinals. That is where Elkview Adam would don a new pair of shorts in this second round to take on Drake, who didn't really have much time to recover from his last match. Adam thought he was going to be flashy floating over Drake here, but a guitar to the skull kills any type of flashiness, and you know what? Make that 2 shots to the skull. This was a slaughter early on. Elkview Adam was on the wrong end of a metal duster, a barbed wire 2x4, another 2x4 with nails and fish hooks attached to it, a giant dog bone, some light tubes, a classic staple gun, and whatever the hell this thing is. Then while going for a double axe handle from the top, who would have thought a thumbtack bat would be the equalizer? More dollar bills would end up being stapled into flesh as Adam tried his best to get into this match finally. There would be another barrage of weapons brought into play, like this freaking toaster, a bundle of sticks, even more light tubes, and after biting a lemon and squirting its juices all over the canvas, as well as sprinkling a few more tacks, Adam thought he had this match in the bag. Little did he know Drake would power him up for a murderous-looking Drake's Landing to seal the deal, sending him to the finals. Look at this replay. Brutal, brutal stuff here. Carpet strips would line the ropes as Wax would square off against JC Bailey to see who would be going on to meet Drake in that final round. And it would be Wax who would be ambushed right out of the gate with a bunch of carpet strips and then surprised once again with this water jug. So just like in round one, Wax did not get things started in his favor. But don't you worry, he would dish out plenty of punishment of his own, including this choke on the ropes. Look at these carpet strips being driven right into the neck of Bailey. They would trade some back and forth carpet strip torture. I can't really think of a better term to call it than that, but the crowd was clearly pulling for Wax here, chanting for him even while JC was driving a bundle of tacks into his back with a kick. You know, it may very well have been the cheers from the fans that willed Wax back into this match and helped him drive JC Bailey down through those strips with a monster powerbomb. Shockingly, that would not be enough, and it forced him to go to the top rope looking for that senton, but nobody besides those carpet strips were home. JC Bailey would easily answer back with a double stomp onto a bunch of light tubes to pick up the 3-count victory. So the finals are now set. It will be Drake Younger, it will be JC Bailey, and it will be a 40 panes of glass scaffold match. Right away, and I'm talking right away, all 4 panes of glass set up in the corners were shattered, Younger going through 3 of them while JC went through the other one. After having already fought in 2 matches, Drake showed he had plenty of strength left, holding JC up with a delayed vertical suplex, which resulted in, you guessed it, shattered glass. Now you gotta think back, at this point in time, no other single match saw this many panes of glass used, so no surprises that by the end of this thing, both of these guys would be cut to shreds. We would see JC go face first through some glass. He would also pull off a Frankensteiner on Drake through another pane, and then watch this. Bayley takes the time to place chairs over both Drake's leg and arm, holding him in place under this other pane of glass while he connects with his double stomp. You see, little details like this, they really do add up. Now, Younger would get a bad cut on his forearm, but kept pushing on through the match. Once back in control, he would finish setting up 2 layers of glass while Bayley was just perched up on the top rope behind him. We would get a bit of a scuffle here, but JC would be the one sent through several panes of glass with that superplex. Just visually awesome stuff here. And after all of that, Drake would get the better of a strike exchange as the pace only continued to, believe it or not, pick up. We got a spine buster in the corner, and it was surprising to see JC had the wherewithal to reach out and grab the ropes, breaking the count. Hey, believe it or not every move was done through glass. JC got a breather and was put through these 2 steel chairs. Lucky him. Now, some pains were sadly wasted, while others were just straight up used as weapons. As they jockeyed for position on the top rope, Drake muscled Bayley up onto his shoulders and brought him crashing down with a sit-out fireman's carry. That would not keep Bayley down, so now it was time for Drake to think going the nuclear option, Drake's landing. But a low blow would put an end to that very quickly. And dear God, this slam in the corner would end up messing Younger's back up even worse. Look at the aftermath here, just gashes everywhere. But that wouldn't stop him from chucking glass into the face of Bayley and then finally hitting his trademark, Drake's landing. Now look at Bayley's back as he rolled onto his side, blood just pouring down now. We would get yet another rope break, which almost sent Younger off the deep end. Desperation now clearly setting in as Drake would construct one more big pane of glass structure using several chairs and, glass. He would slide JC under the glass and begin to scale the large scaffold set up at ringside, and as he reached the top, JC already made his way out from under the glass and simply just shook the structure. We got a bit of an exaggerated fall as Younger crashed and burned, and you can see he immediately started clutching his arm, apparently cutting it badly. JC Bayley would quickly make the cover, picking up the victory in his first ever Deathmatch tournament win. Everyone would rush out from the back to check on Younger and would help him wrap up his left arm. We would end up getting a few choice words from Drake, but he would tip his hat to Bayley. And after several years of hard work and even some hard time, JC Bayley finally won his first tournament trophy. I don't know about you, but I think the main event lived up to that hype. I thought JC Bayley, Drake Younger, 2 phenomenal hybrid deathmatch wrestlers, did a fantastic job. The whole tournament as a whole, if it's like, hey, was this worth watching the entire tournament? I'm gonna have to probably say no. There was a lot of, especially early on, that first round, I would only say there's probably 1 match worth watching. That was Drake Younger and Freak Show. Other than that, I can't really recommend the entire tournament. I definitely recommend the main event. If you haven't seen the whole thing, definitely go out of your way and watch it as a whole. But especially that one triple threat match with JC Bayley in the first round, it looked like he was talking to David Day. It looked like he was talking to Thorne, trying to like walk them both through the whole thing. Now, he may not have been telling them step by step what to do, but he talked that entire match. If you watch that thing back, he is constantly telling them things. I think you can probably do without watching a lot of this tournament and maybe just skip to the second round. The second round was perfectly fine. Nothing great, nothing bad, but the main event is where this whole tournament lies, and I think it was a good watch. I'm happy I watched it. Like I said, this is a part of deathmatch wrestling history. JC Bayley, one of the best to ever do it, in my opinion. That's my opinion. One of his only deathmatch tournaments he's won. He only won 2 in his career, and this was the first one. I've actually gotten to a big JC Bayley kick lately. I kind of went back and watched his shoot interviews and a lot of his best of matches. I think another video is going to be dropping here on the channel soon, a Deathmatch archive. I wouldn't necessarily say it's one of his best matches, but it's one of his most unique matches. It's with the Necro Butcher. I don't want to spoil anything, but maybe you already know. There's a really interesting story that he had in one of his shoot interviews that I want to share with you guys. Maybe you haven't seen it. I have not seen it. I have not seen it. I only heard the story, so I'm going to go back and watch it, and we're going to bring it here on the channel at some point soon. So if you're watching this video later, that video is probably already out on the channel, so go check it out. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I really did enjoy going down the path. Ohio Hatchet Wrestling. Never heard of them until relatively recently. So either way, I hope you guys did enjoy. Please support Deathmatch Wrestling, support independent wrestling, support Smart Mark Video, which is where I bought this DVD. IWTV, you know the whole spiel by now, I think. Share the love, share this video if you can, share some Jobber Radio content. That's pretty much all I ask for you guys, is just, if you can, throw some links out there, spread the word. That's all you can do to help, really. That's all I'm asking for. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you guys on the next video.